everyone. Welcome back to the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you're watching this video. I'm kind of just doing a general shared everywhere situation. So, yeah, I had to bring out the big guns because let me grab them. My little lapel mics keep sounding like I'm in a fucking ditch. I apologize for the curse word. Not really. So if you have mic recommendations for lapel mics, leave them in the comments, please, because this was getting really annoying. So I broke out my podcasting mic, which thankfully has better audio, and we're very happy about that. Anyways, we are not here to hear me talk about this problem. We are here to talk books. That is why you come to me, I would hope, in some cases. Today's book is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I'm going to figure out something to, prop this up on so I don't have to hold it constantly through the videos, books going through videos going forward. So we'll see what I can come up with. Maybe I can get an easel attachment for my, tripod. Who knows? We'll find out. Anyways, today's book is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. And this is, from my understanding, the first book of a sequel series to the Shades of Magic books. Those books were freaking amazing. Just to kind of give you a precursor, Shades of Magic falls before this. It is 7 years before this book. And then there is a prequel trilogy to that, which follows at the time of the Shades of Magic trilogy's king when he is prince. So you kind of get the family line going through. So Shades of Magic followed Kel, and I don't want to think the king's name is right. And I'm going to hope that I didn't open to the right page. Yes, I was right. It's right. Yay! Him and Alucard. We don't meet Alucard until book 3, I think, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. It could have been book 2. Maybe end of book 1, going into book 2, then book 3 is when he's really a huge plot character need. But we not only get to revisit all of our favorite characters from the original trilogy, but we get a couple new ones. So yay! I quite enjoyed reading this book. I enjoyed every second of it. Usually not a huge fan of chapters that kind of breathe. Time jumps are not always my favorite thing because sometimes they're just not done well. V.E. Schwab, yet again, has done an amazing job with the time jumps here, for me at least. Other people might think otherwise, but this is just for me. I quite enjoyed the 7-year time jump and how she handled it. But then again, I'm no stranger to loving on V.E. Schwab. I loved The Nearest Witch. I loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Loved those books. And I fully intend on reading more of her books. I just haven't gotten to that because I don't want to burn myself out on V.E. Schwab. So that is my other thing is I can get burnt out on an author very, very quickly if I just start devouring everything in their library catalog. So I'm taking my time. If there's anything you'd prefer that I start with that's not on my have read list, leave it in the comments and I will pick up those books immediately. Well, not immediately, but they'll get added to the list and moved up the queue list, essentially. But the premise behind this, 7 years later, we've got Delilah and Kel off doing their adventuring, and Kel has got a whole new persona, which I love Kel as a character. There was just something about him, and as I jokingly say, there's twofold things for me with a book series. I either love it enough to create an original character for it, or I love it enough that I don't feel the need to create an original character for it. There's only two things with that. For me. So if I really loved your book series, there's probably an OC that I've created for it. But in V.E. Schwab's case, with this, I don't ever feel the need to do that. And I guess it's because I feel so satisfied with the way it all ends. I kind of thrive with creating original characters for some things. I have a lot that have been created for like the Marvel universe and stuff like that. So if you've read some of my fan fiction stuff under one of my pen names on Archive of Our Own, Ward's Girl, you know that I created 2 OCs for Marvel, and one is, they're both Peggy Carter's granddaughters, but one is Coulson's daughter. So yeah, I love creating original characters. I have not felt compelled to do that in the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I still have not been felt compelled to do that with this series. Not that I don't love fan fiction about this series and have tried to find some. But yes, so very satisfying for my soul as a reader's perspective, but also as a writer's perspective. It's very like well tied up and just put together well. So there you go. Essentially, we've returned to Red London. For those of y'all that have probably not read this book series, I don't give spoilers, but there are 4 Londons in this series. There's Black London, Grey London, Red London, and White London. Grey London is our London. We are the world without magic, essentially. Red London is the world in which Delilah escapes from Grey London with Kell. Kell is there, Rye Maresh is there, Alucard's there. That is the big world of magic. Black London has been locked off from the rest of the Londons for quite some time due to a thing that happened. Again, no spoilers here. So you're going to have to go back and read the Shades of Magic trilogy if you really want to know that answer, or Google. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to Google. If you don't want to go back and read it, it's up to you. And then you have White London, which is very gives me the shivers thinking about it again in my head. But essentially Black London has been fully cut off, like completely cut off now in this part of the series. And we are now down to just Grey London, again, our London, Red London, and White London. And honestly, it got good at the end, and now I have to wait for the next book. And I'm very impatient for the next book. I say this because instead of this kind of following Delilah and Kell, which was the main focus of the last trilogy, or at least that's how I felt about it, as well as following Rye coming in as prince and then becoming king at the end of it. Now, how that happened, I'm not going to tell you, but you get, see, I'm going to tease you with just enough information so that you have to go read the prequel trilogy to this, and you're going to thank me for it, I promise. So anyways, my arm's getting tired. So the prequel trilogy really follows that aspect of like how they permanently get cut off from Black London. Meanwhile, you have in this series, it is not just focused on Kell and Delilah this go around. Actually, it is more focused on Delilah, who is considered the I always pronounce it wrong in my head, I feel like, so I'm not going to try and say it, but she is what I would say, the warlock, which, whatever title we want to give her, of Grey London now being in Red London. Then you have Tess, who is actually what the story, who the trilogy is going to focus around, and then I want to say it's Kasika. That is how I'm pronouncing it, but probably wrong. Would probably do me good to listen to the audiobook to find that out, of how badly I'm mispronouncing this name. And she is White London. So we have 2 magical beings in Red London, none in Grey London, and then 1 in White London. So it got good at the end, and I'm just like, I need more. It has a stranglehold on me, and V.E. Schwab is just amazing, and I love her stuff, and I'm ready for the next book. So as soon as I have a release date, I promise I will actually update this description and put it in there. I also, if anyone's interested, can share it. I have created kind of a book release calendar for myself, and this is only books that I'm interested in or I've been reading the series. So if you want to subscribe to that on Google Calendars, I will share it where you're able to do that. But 10 out of 10, would recommend this book. I gave it 5 stars on Storygraph, which is where I track all of my reading now instead of on Goodreads. For those of y'all that maybe like why, I'm like, good. Storygraph just gives me a lot more dynamics, and I've written a blog post about that already, but maybe one day we can go through and I will do a live and we can really actually talk about why I very much wholly prefer Storygraph to Goodreads, because writing a blog post, while great and fun, doesn't encapsulate everything that I love about Storygraph and what they're doing. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So tracking my reading on Storygraph and everything, like, I love that, and I love being able to review these books and kind of giving you like what the pace style is and stuff like that. So like, for me, this was a medium pace book. I say that because I do not dictate pace on how the author would probably prefer you read it. When I like a book, I devour it like it is food. I have a very bad habit of sitting and finishing books in one sitting. And I believe this was a book in one sitting situation. If I remember correctly, I can actually check Storygraph. Let me grab my phone. Let's see what I have put on the Storygraph. Because I know one of the books that I'm reviewing for you guys today was a one and done situation. Like, I literally started it and finished it in one day. But I don't remember. View journal entries. Okay, it was not this one. I thought it was. But I did finish it in so I started reading this on September 5th and had it finished by the 14th. So a little under 10 days for that book. But it was absolutely just... I always love a good book that, like, I can't wait to finish it. But then I'm also like, just... give me everything. And I'm really excited to like see where we're going with this series and find out more about it. So there is that. I like to read y'all the little blurbs in the front just because it's me. So here's our blurb for The Fragile Threads of Power. A new door opens. Once there were 4 worlds nestled like pages in a book, each pulsing with fantastical power and connected by a single city, London. After a desperate attempt to prevent corruption and ruin in the 4 Londons, there are only 3. Grey London, thriving but barely able to remember its magical heritage. Red London, ruled lately by the Maresh family, flourishing and powerful. And White London, left to brutality and decay. Now the worlds are going to collide anew, brought to a dangerous precipice by the discoveries of 3 remarkable magicians. There's Kasika, the child of Queen of White London, who has nourished her city on blood and dreams, and whose growing devotion to both is leading her down a dangerous path. Then there's Delilah Bard, born a thief in Grey London, who crossed the worlds to become a legend far from there. She's an infamous magician, a devious heroine, and a risk-taking rogue, all rolled into one unforgettable package. Having disappeared to seek a new adventure, an old favor now calls Lila back to a dangerous port to join some old friends who need more help than they even realize. Last, there is Tess, a young runaway with an unusual and powerful ability, hiding out in Red London while trying to stay out of the limelight. Tess is the only one who can keep all the worlds from unraveling, if she manages to stay alive first. I didn't even read the blurb before I picked this one up, and just was like, okay, which one of my babies is on the front? It's not even one of my babies. It's not Kel. It's not Delilah. When you read the book, you will figure out exactly who is on this cover. Again, enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars on Storygraph, and I honestly found it to be a medium-paced book. The only reason that it took me so long to finish it in personal thing is that I have been flexing through some really bad life stuff on my own, and stuff that's kind of just put me in funks, and then I don't want to read, and I force myself to read 3 pages of a book, and then it's like, we're good, because I try to at least read 3 pages a day. Whether I finish a book or not, whether I read more than that, I am at least aiming for 3 a day. So there is that. But I do recommend it. And for those of y'all that might be new to my system of how I do all these things, to best explain it, my way of deciding what books I review, I'm going to be honest, is kind of criteria of would I recommend it and is it going to stay on my bookshelf. Now, well, not is it going to stay on my bookshelf, is if I plan on rereading it. Okay, so it's either I'd recommend it or we're going to reread it at some point. This series is a book series that I'm probably going to reread in the future. I may or may not read the graphic novels that are the prequel to Shades of Magic, but it's neither here nor there. It's okay if I don't read those, I think. It's okay. But my game point is that if I review a book, it is a book that I would recommend. Sometimes there are books that I choose to review that I might have given a lower rating to and don't plan on rereading personally, but someone might find them interesting. So I'm going to share them. Case in point, there is a book that I just finished that, or just finished as of recording this video, that I'm going to review. It was not my favorite, and it's okay, but someone else might love it. Anyways, this is a book, like I said, not only would I recommend it, but it's also going to stay on my shelf. Case in point. That's what I want you to understand. And if I didn't love it, it'd be going to my case so that it could find another happy home. There you go. But anyways, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this very rambly review. Let me know what books you'd recommend to add to my reading list. I'm pretty much stuck in fantasy here lately, but I'm always wanting to try something new. And I would love recommendations to try something new. So leave them in the comments. If you've read The Shades of Magic or have read The Fragile Threads of Power, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. But please, 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 friends, no spoilers. If I spy spoilers in your comments, because I have mine to where I moderate them, I will delete your comment. We don't do spoilers here. I'm trying, I want to tease you just enough to entice you to read the book. Please no spoilers in the comments. And again, if you have any lapel mic recommendations that can give me the same quality of sound I'm getting out of my podcast mic, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you ever so much for coming and hanging out with me while I do these rambly book reviews, and I will see you all in the next one. If you're on YouTube watching this, then all the normal links are down in the description. And if you're on the TikTok, you're going to have to go to Instagram. I apologize. Or YouTube. You can find the links there. I don't have enough followers there on here, TikTok, to do a linkity schminkity in the bio. And if you are watching this on Instagram, I hope you all follow and like the video. Same thing on TikTok. And same thing on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, because not only are we going to be doing more book reviews over here, we're going to be doing a lot more stuff, including live streams. So, yeah. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get all those notifications, or the follow button so you get all those notifications. There's also a Discord server. Again, linkity schminkities, where they normally would be and where you would find them. I hope to see you all again soon, and enjoy your day. Whether it is day, night, or whatever time it is for you.